Hello, and welcome to this edition of the ChannelVision Podcast. I'm Tony Jones, Managing Editor of ChannelVision Magazine. Today I'm speaking with Benjamin Tansky, Vice President of Channel Sales and Events for Natural Wireless. Hi, Benjamin. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, hey, Tony. Thank you so much for having me.
Got a lot to dig into today. Natural Wireless helped pioneer the concept of fixed wireless fiber. Can you explain how this model delivers enterprise-grade performance without relying on underground fiber infrastructure, and why it's becoming critical for properties and enterprises in major urban markets?
Absolutely. So, Natural Wireless pioneered the concept of fixed wireless fiber more than 23 years ago. And today we operate across Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Florida. At its core, fixed wireless fiber delivers the same enterprise grade characteristics people expect from fiber: low latency, high throughput, symmetrical speeds, but without relying on underground last mile infrastructure. We deliver dedicated internet access speeds as fast as 20 gigabits per second, completely above ground. That means we bypass shared conduit systems, the trenching, the manholes, the construction exposure, all of the vulnerabilities that exist in dense urban environments. But the real differentiator is our architecture. Every building we serve receives two completely separate connections. Each connection goes back to a different data center, and there is real time automatic failover between them. That's how we confidently support a 99.99% service level agreement, because diversity is engineered into the design. Underground last mile fiber is good technology. It's fast, it's proven, but it has its limitations. No matter how many fiber carriers enter a building, if they're all relying on shared underground pathways, you're still dealing with redundancy and not true diversity. And in major urban markets where outages can cripple entire neighborhoods, architectural independence isn't a luxury, it's critical infrastructure.
Right. Many providers talk about redundancy. Natural Wireless emphasizes diversity. How do you define the difference between the two, and why does it matter for true reliability?
A lot of providers use the word redundancy loosely. We focus on diversity, and those two terms are not the same at all. Redundancy usually means multiple circuits, but very often the circuits are still entering the building through the same underground conduit system. They may be from different carriers, but physically they're riding the same last mile fiber pathways. So when that shared underground infrastructure fails, whether it's a fire, a flood, or construction accidents, both connections go down at the same time. That's redundancy without separation. Diversity, on the other hand, means architectural independence. Natural Wireless delivers a 100% diverse, dedicated internet connection that does not touch the underground last mile fiber infrastructure at all. We enter from an entirely separate physical path engineered independently of the shared conduit systems most providers rely on today. That's what true diversity looks like. The simplest analogy is, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if that basket drops, it doesn't matter how many eggs you had. True reliability isn't about having more lines, it's about having architectural independence with fixed wireless fiber.
And your network design connects every building to two separate data centers through independent fixed wireless fiber paths. How does that translate into uptime and latency improvements for customers?
Yeah, our architecture is fundamentally different from a traditional internet service provider model. Natural Wireless connects every building with two completely separate dedicated internet access circuits delivered over two independent fixed wireless fiber paths. Each path terminates in a different data center. That's not a backup line, that's dual active infrastructure. What does that mean in the real world? First, uptime, because diversity is engineered into our design, not added as an afterthought. A failure on one path does not impact the other. And with real-time automatic failover, traffic shifts instantly. No manual intervention, no waiting on a ticket to be escalated. Second is latency. Traditional underground fiber often traverses multiple carrier hotels, aggregation switches, and intermediate hardware along congested metro routes. Every hop introduces potential delay. Our architecture is a direct point to point shot into the data center. Fewer hops, fewer variables, more predictable latency. The result is higher uptime and cleaner performance consistency. And here's the key, really, here's the key. True, fully independent dual path architecture back to two separate data centers is extraordinarily difficult to achieve using underground fiber. Shared conduit systems make physical separation challenging. Natural wireless built diversity into the foundation of our network. That's the difference.
Natural wireless ensure the same performance and reliability that customers expect from fiber, especially for mission critical users like, say, hotels, hospitals, and Class A office buildings.
First let's reframe something. Internet connectivity isn't just mission critical, it's revenue critical. Every second offline is measurable loss. Um, People assume underground fiber equals reliability, but fiber burns, conduits flood, manholes explode. We've all seen it. When no shared underground paths fail, everyone riding on it goes down together. The businesses that stay online are the ones built on true path diversity. Everyone else learns the hard way. I'll give you a real world example. We work with a Fortune 100 hotel. They had four separate fiber providers. They had redundancy. But when a major underground incident occurred, all four connections went hard down. Why? Because they were all riding variations of the same physical infrastructure. That's the difference between redundancy and diversity. Redundancy is multiple circuits, diversity is architectural independence. Our architecture completely independent of the underground last mile fiber. We deliver dedicated fixed wireless fiber internet access for with as little as 50 megabits per second to as with speeds as fast as 20 gigabits per second, all over true diverse infrastructure. So when we talk about performance and reliability, it's not theoretical. It's engineered separation, it's predictable latency, it's dedicated bandwidth. Fiber isn't inherently bad, but when it's your only path, it becomes your single point of failure.
That's great. And, so let's talk a little about your technology and deployment. How does your fixed wireless fiber architecture enable faster deployment timelines compared with traditional fiber build out?
Traditionally, underground fiber builds can take weeks, sometimes months, even if the building that already has fiber in it, could take that long. You're dealing with permits, you're dealing with trenches, conduit access, construction schedules, and coordination across multiple parties. Even small delays can push timelines out significantly. With fixed wireless fiber, we bypass that entire bottleneck. We don't need to open streets. We don't wait on permits. There's no trenching, there's no digging, there's no construction delays because we're delivering the connectivity is coming via the rooftop infrastructure. We can deploy within 5 business days or less. Mind-blowingly fast. For many clients, that speed is like, what? What? How's that possible? You know, especially if they've experienced the uncertainty of what that comes with traditional underground fiber buildouts. The result is simple: faster turn up, predictable timelines, and immediate access to dedicated high performance connectivity. In today's environment, businesses move fast and downtime costs real money. Speed of deployment isn't just convenient, it's strategic.
And what are the most common misconceptions about fixed wireless internet?
You know, the first one is weather. People assume rain, snow, or fog will knock it out. That's simply not how carrier grade fixed wireless fiber infrastructure works. These are engineered, licensed links designed with fade margin and redundancy and built into it. They're deployed to perform in real world conditions. The second misconception is that fixed wireless fiber is the same thing as 5G fixed wireless or bonded 5G fixed wireless or quad band 5G or LTE. It's not. Those are best effort shared mobility wireless services. Those are not dedicated bandwidth guarantees. There's no SLA back performance commitments. It's fun. Those are fundamentally different products. We also hear comparisons to satellite, like Starlink. Again, completely different architecture. Starlink introduces higher latency and shared spectrum. Fixed wireless fiber is terrestrial, it's point to point, it's engineered for enterprise grade performance. You know, another concern is roof access. Building owners sometimes think installation is disruptive or it's complicated. In reality, we handle all coordination with our in house team. We've been doing this for more than 2 decades. The process is structured, it's professional, and it's low impact. At the end of the day, the easiest way to understand is this: just like underground fiber is vastly different from 5G fixed wireless, dedicated fixed wireless fiber is vastly different from 5G fixed wireless mobility based services. Fixed wireless fiber is engineered, it's dedicated, it's a service level agreement backed infrastructure built for performance and reliability.
Thank you. And so, let's move on to partner and customer engagement. Natural Wireless works closely with property owners, managers, technology advisors. What does a successful partnership look like? And what tools or support do you provide to help them sell your service?
A successful partnership with Natural Wireless starts with education because redundancy is not the same as diversity. Um, One of the first things we do with property owners, managers, and technology advisors is help them understand and articulate that distinction. When they can confidently explain the value of true path diversity, the conversation with enterprise clients and with tenants becomes much stronger. From there, it's about enablement. We provide structured partner training, sales education, and collateral that clearly explains the architecture, the service level agreement, and the performance benefits. We make sure our partners aren't just reselling a circuit, they understand the infrastructure story behind it. We also support the business side. That includes spiffs and incentive programs, dedicated channel support, and real time access to our team for deal strategy and technical validation. Um, Operationally, we integrate with platforms like ConnectBase and MasterStream, which makes quoting simple and efficient. Partners can see serviceability and pricing quickly. No friction, no guesswork, okay? Just right there. At the end of the day, a successful partnership is about alignment, it's about education, support, speed, shared upside, and trust. We don't just provide connectivity, we provide a platform our partners can confidently build revenue around.
And what are some of the most effective conversation starters partners can use to uncover a need for natural wireless, fixed wireless fiber, particularly when competing against legacy fiber carriers?
When competing against legacy fiber carriers, the most effective conversation starters are they're not technical, they're operational. The first question is simple. How dependent is your business on connectivity? Because once a prospect acknowledges that their operations, their revenue, their guest experience, their patient care, or their tenant satisfaction all depend on uptime, the conversation shifts from price to resilience. The second powerful question is about timeline. When do you need this installed? If they're moving into a new space or expanding, traditional fiber timelines can become a real issue, a real bottleneck, really. That opens the door to discussing rapid deployment and architectural independence. From there, you can dig deeper if you want, right? What happens if your primary carrier goes down? Are your redundant circuits truly diverse? Do they enter the building through separate physical paths? Those questions expose gaps without attacking the existing provider. The goal isn't to criticize legacy fiber, it's to help the customer recognize risk they may not have considered. Because once they understand that redundancy isn't the same as diversity, the value of fixed wireless fiber becomes very clear.
on the back end of that, too, for buildings or clients already using another provider, what key pain points typically drive them to switch to fixed wireless fiber?
First, it's inconsistent reliability. The connection works until it doesn't, and that unpredictability kills operations. Second is latency and jitter. Applications time out, VoIP gets choppy, video buffers. In today's cloud first AI world, even small latency spikes create major workflow disruption. Third, speed. Speed instability. They subscribe to a 500 meg circuit, but throughout the day it fluctuates. It goes down to 50, sometimes goes down to 10. Then you got support fatigue. Support fatigue. When outages happen, they're stuck in ticket queues and escalation loops. At some point, the pain of staying becomes greater than the effort of switching. And finally, the big one here, true diversity. Most providers still rely on the same underground last mile fiber infrastructure. If that conduit floods, burns, or gets cut, everyone on that path goes down together. What drives the switch is simple. Businesses want predictable performance, real path diversity, and accountability.
So, looking ahead, how does natural wireless see the role of fixed wireless fiber evolving as AI workloads and cloud adoption continue to grow?
AI is extremely sensitive to latency. Whether you're running real time analytics, automation models, cloud based inference engines, or even small delays compound quickly, low, predictable latency isn't a luxury anymore. It's foundational. Second, cloud dependency is now universal. Businesses aren't just using the cloud, they operate in the cloud. ERP systems, collaboration platforms, security stacks, production environments, all of it lives offsite. That means the network is the business. Performance performance consistency becomes critical. It's not about burst speeds on a speed test. It's about stable throughput, minimal jitter, and guaranteed bandwidth when workloads spike. Ultimately, it all goes back to reliability. You cannot successfully deploy AI into a business environment if your connectivity layer is unstable. AI amplifies efficiency. We all know that, but it also amplifies network weaknesses. Finally, scalability. AI models grow and data volumes increase. Bandwidth demand will continue to climb exponentially. Fixed wireless fiber gives organizations the ability to scale quickly from 1 gig to 10 gig and beyond without waiting on trenching, permits, underground construction. The future isn't just faster internet, it's resilient, low latency, scalable infrastructure built for intelligent workloads. And that's where natural wireless's dual path, dedicated fixed wireless fiber shines bright like a diamond.
Good stuff. And where can folks go for more information?
Hit up our website, naturalwireless.com. They can also reach us, quote at naturalwireless.com as well.
Excellent. Benjamin, thank you again for joining us today.
You're quite welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Tony.
And thank you to our audience for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Channel Vision Podcast.